Hello, good afternoon. Thanks everyone for joining us for our August chapter monthly meeting where Tyrone Wilson is going to talk about incident handling and threat hunting with Security Onion. So again, this is a virtual meeting for August. Hopefully everybody can see the slide deck that I'm going to be talking about. And I'm only going to be talking for about 5 minutes before I'm going to turn it over to our presenter for tonight. This is me. I'm the president of the ISSA DC chapter. Hopefully we have some other chapters. We reached out to this month. We reached out to Central Maryland, as well as the Northern Virginia chapter for ISSA. So hopefully we have some members from both of those chapters online. Welcome. For folks that don't know about ISSA, here's just a little overview of what the association is all about. It's a non-for-profit association, been in existence for probably 30 plus years. We normally meet on a monthly basis. We have a different speaker present for anywhere between an hour and 2 hours, talking about different sections or divisions or aspects of information security. And it's different every month. We try to stay on topic, whatever is hopefully going on in the news. We like to stay on top of that. It makes it worthwhile to come to. Unfortunately, again, since we're virtual, we can't really do any networking like we can pre-COVID, face-to-face, which is really nice to do. But again, we're just not fortunate enough at this moment in our time until we get a vaccine, until we go back to face-to-face meetings. So this is going to be our short-term future of holding virtual webinars. They've worked in the past. We've started doing this since March. I think we've held one every month since March, and it's worked out. So we're going to continue this process. Here's just some of the membership benefits of becoming a member. I guess the most important thing that I want to bring out or highlight is, again, this is a non-for-profit, so the only way, or one of the ways, the main way that we get funded is through memberships. So we get a little dollar amount from the yearly memberships, which keeps us going. So another big benefit of becoming a member is the monthly magazines that ISSA publishes with some really good articles in there. So again, I highly encourage you, if you're not currently a member, to become a member. It's about $125 for the year. $25 goes to our chapter. The rest goes to international. Again, that's just how we are funded. We also take sponsorships for any companies or anybody in particular that if they want to sponsor us, you can check out the website and there's a section on sponsorships. So we encourage that as well. This is our current board members for the year. We have yearly terms for all of our board members. I have Teresa Allison on the line with me. She's a co-organizer for tonight. So I appreciate Teresa's help in putting this together as well.
Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you tonight.
And this is when we hold our normal chapter meetings. It's the third Tuesday of every month. We usually kick it off around 6:30, and it lasts sometimes till about 8:30. We normally hold them again at the Center for American Progress in DC, but right now we're holding these virtually. And to stay ahead and on track with the latest information, always check out our website at issa-dc.org. It has the most current information. Also, if you, once we have your email, we send out maybe 2 to 3 times a month, a newsletter or just information about what's coming and our next speaker. Very short emails. We don't try to spam you. So 1 month from today, we will have our presenter from NIST talking about the NIST security and privacy controls, the new version that's coming out, Rev 5. So very excited to hear about that. In October, where the subject is growing in cyber panel discussion. So that should be a great topic as well. And in November, we're talking about cybersecurity threat intelligence briefing. So we've got 3 great upcoming presentations. So again, please join us next month in September to hear about the NIST 853 Rev 5 version. So that brings us to our presenter. Tyrone Wilson will be presenting, again, like I mentioned, incident handling and threat hunting with Security Onion. Tyrone has presented to the ISSA DC chapter in the past and has received great comments from his presentation. So we are really excited about bringing Tyrone back. And I'm sure it's going to be a great presentation. I'm really interested in hearing about it. So I guess without further ado, Tyrone, I am going to turn it back over to you. And give me 1 second to make you the presenter. And please go ahead and take it away. Oh, also, sorry, one other thing. If you have questions, please type those in the question space on your screen, and we will get to those questions. And Tyrone has also made a handout available on your screen, so hopefully you can see that in that pop-out box on the right-hand side of your screen as well. Tyrone, please, it's all you.
Okay, so everyone should be able to see me. I will show my screen, and basically what I'm doing with my screen is I am going to multitask. So we'll be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. On the right-hand side, I will be going through the handout that you should see in the handouts portion of the GoToWebinar control panel. But then on the left-hand side, I'm actually going to demonstrate how I would download, install, and set up Security Onion. So it's going to be a 2-pronged deal, and I hope everyone gets something out of it. All right, so I am Tyrone Wilson. I'm the founder and president of Cover 6 Solutions, where we do vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, and workshops to include pen tester prep, SOC analyst prep, and then we also have a summer cyber camp coming up at the last week of August, which is essentially a combination of the SOC analyst prep and the pen tester prep. And we'll have some goodies for you all at the end of the presentation. For anyone that knows me, you know I am quite passionate about being able to educate the masses in cybersecurity, because I know firsthand with knowledge what knowledge in cybersecurity can do for you. Like it can change lives for generations to come. So I really try to impact and motivate and inspire as many people as I possibly can. Tonight we're going to talk about Security Onion because it's very near and dear to me, not the tool, so to speak, but the skills that it gives you. One of the reasons why I like giving presentations like this is because through my training, through my mentorship, I always run into, the same problem over and over and over again. I'll run into people that say, I can't get a job because I don't have experience, and I don't have experience because I can't get a job. Well, I am going to show you a way tonight for you to get hands-on cybersecurity experience so you can impress employers at your next interview, right? What employers want is they want to, 1, see that you have the skill set. The ways to do that is either through a resume, which is just a piece of paper, basically stating that you meet the minimum requirements for what they're looking for. The workaround for that is to actually show them that you do have these top-notch, hands-on technical skills. And a couple of ways to do that is to devise a way to show your skill set to the world. And that can be in many forms, either through a security blog or a YouTube channel, Twitch, Twitter, blog posts, GitHub, what have you. I understand that, you know, with this field, a lot of people may struggle with putting their personal information out there, putting their name out there. It does not have to be in your name. You can pick an alias, have you know, a fake profile picture, and then you can go by your alias. As a matter of fact, I have some mentors in the field where I don't even know their real names, but I know the Twitter handles, and I know where they're speaking next, and I know about the family and the kids and all that stuff. So you can make it happen. I started, you know, getting into IT and tech, I'd say about 25 years ago. I joined the military right after high school, so not to show my age. Hopefully I don't look it. I know my COVID beard is growing, but I don't think I have any grays just yet. Okay, maybe just one, but I named that one after my daughter. Fortunately for me, I happened to be a part of some really great units while I was in the military and after the military. A lot of them were focused on network defense and being what's called a cyber op 4. So for the first 15 to 16 years of my career, I was all network defense. I was a fusion cell team lead. I've been in charge of network intrusions for all of Iraq twice, with 2 deployments for the Army again. And then also, you know, on the weekends, we did the FBI ESOC, but my pride and joy was being the fusion cell team lead at JTF-GNO, which is now, you may know it better as US Cybercom. So I'm being able to work in that environment and meeting those individuals has been a major blessing to me. So for anyone that can't hear me, it may be something on your end. There was a slight complaint about individuals being unable to hear Scott earlier. He came through loud and clear with me. So we should be fine with that. Again, I can see the questions. So if you have any questions, I will weave them into the presentation. Although I'm here like giving the presentation, I treat it the same way I treat all of my classes. I'm really just here to guide the content, right? But we're all here for each other. And even though like you all can't see each other or hear each other, if you have a question or comment or anything that you want to add to the presentation, either based off of your experiences or anything, just throw it out there and I'll find a way to weave it into the presentation. So it'll be as seamless as we possibly can make it, although it's virtual. I do have some experience with the virtual meetups. I also organize a group called the DC Cybersecurity Professionals. You may have heard of us or not. We're a little over 7,600 members, and you can find us at meetup.com/DC Cyber Warriors. All right, so Security Onion is essentially your first introduction into, I guess you can call it a SIM tool, so system. I always forget what SIM stands for, so system incident event management or something like that, right? It's free for what it does. I can't believe that it's free. Doug and the Security Onion folks do a really great job of putting it all together. They also have a newer version of Security Onion 2.0. I haven't had a chance to evaluate it yet, but maybe that's something that we can do in an upcoming presentation. Also, this will be at a high level. We won't get into the weeds too much of things like search terms, snort signatures, getting really deep into the IDS alerts or how to edit, the emerging threats portion of the config files. It's just getting you comfortable with it, showing you how to set it up so you can get it up and running. If you can get really, really good at this, you could literally use Security Onion to set up a network monitoring side hustle, so to speak, and turn it into a business. Ask me how I know that's possible, right? So if you have a server or a laptop or a Mac Mini in your home that's just sitting there not doing anything, you could install Security Onion and start monitoring your home right now. So I am going to scroll through the handout. I gave you the handout in the Microsoft Word form because I'm hoping that you can use it. This is the template that I use for almost all of our company documents. Hopefully you like it. Feel free to make any changes that you want. I think it's a lot better than the PDF. So you can actually use this document for your notes. We're actually going to go through as we have more presentations in the future. I'll give you another Word document, and then you can just start adding all of this and start using it as your notes. Computers run out of memory. People are going to run out of memory as well. So please, please, please develop some type of note-taking apparatus. Also, I know that we mentioned incident handling and threat hunting in the title. Threat hunting can be really, 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 really complex. So I don't want you to think that we're going to solve the threat hunting problem with just Security Onion alone. There is a lot of technical expertise that comes to play when threat hunting, but Security Onion and using it to search for things like services, IP addresses, things of that nature will help you with your incident handling and response. When it comes to, IH, IR, there's two things that I want you to try to focus on. And one is the MTTI, or the mean time to identify, and the MTTM, which is the mean time to mitigate. So no matter what network you're on, or no matter what network you're defending, the faster you can find an issue and the faster you can fix an issue, the better off you'll be. So using from this first image right here is just a quick search on Google Trends. My search term was threat hunting, and it populates the top 10 most popular states where the threat hunting search term exists. So for those individuals that may be looking to move and want to still stay in this field of threat hunting, that is your top 5 right there. So that would be a good, those would be some good choices. Additionally, I added some threat hunting resources that I found across the web. It's not all of them. I typically don't try to endorse another company, especially if I'm not familiar with them. We try to stay as product agnostic as we possibly can, but obviously we can't do it all the time. Security Onion's free, right? I mentioned that. It's got some really great technology built into the background that allows you to do some really quick searches and things of that nature using the ELK. It's called the ELK stack with Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. We will see Kibana tonight, and then also the IDS tool called Squirt, but my instance is not in network monitoring mode at all. So what it does, right, is as you set it up, there's a couple things that you'll need to do with your VM. So one is you literally search the web for Security Onion, right? One of the top entries will be securityonion.net. Securityonion.net downloads, it will take you to the GitHub page. And then on the GitHub page, you'll see the ISO that you can download and even check to ensure that the hash is correct. It's about 2 gigs. I have already downloaded it. So if you want to follow along, you can download it now. When you set up your VM, there's a couple of things that you'll need as a minimum requirement. Also, sorry, I'm fighting a cough. So if you see me struggling over here, it's because I'm trying not to cough. So it works on 64-bit processors only. When you set up your VM, you're gonna need about 4 CPU cores. I do have a OVA that I'll share with you all that has 2, but with 4 gigs of memory. I'm sorry, yeah, 4 gigs of memory. You can go make changes if you want. Another minimum requirement is the memory and the hard drive space. By all means, if you have more than 40 gigs to allocate, then definitely do that. So we have a question about what does the mean time mean? And yes, they are formal definitions. So you may see MTTI and MTTM. So mean time is basically just the average time. The other question is about Adafruit. As a Pi-based hardware solution. No, I have not seen it. There was also a question about can you run, if that's in reference to trying to run it on Raspberry Pi. The answer is yes, you can. For anyone that is looking to run or install Security Onion at the organizational level, on our website, we had a second on the cover6solutions.com website. Do a search for Security Onion. O'Shea Bowens, also known as Sir Mudblood on Twitter, gave a Security Onion presentation, but at the organizational level. Tonight, we're just going to stick to what you can do at home. I mentioned the 40 gigs of hard drive space. If you have more, then by means, allocate more. By default, Security Onion will try to keep track of the last 30 days of traffic, but you can go and make those changes in the config file. The other thing that you'll need is 2 interfaces or 2 NICs. One of those interfaces will be your management interface. That will be the one that you connect to over the web after you have made some changes to firewall rules and such. And the second interface is your monitoring interface. It does nothing but listen to the traffic that's on your local segment. So by local segment, I mean everything between you and the router. So if you put your NIC into NAT mode, or network address translation mode, and you don't see any traffic, that's why. Whew, any other question? Oh, yeah. So can we install it on Ubuntu? It comes with its own ISO, and its ISO is oh man, I don't want to get it wrong, but I believe it's already Ubuntu. Any special considerations? Yes, I kind of listed that a little bit. I believe this will be recorded as well. The VM that I downloaded is on the security and the GitHub page. And if you don't have the document on the Cover 6 Solutions website, one of the old blog posts, there is a security onion or a threat hunting. Oh, that takes us to the website, but there is a security onion blog post there with all of the instructions and basically everything that's in this document. Question about bridging the NICs. I will show you that. It's essentially a setting in whatever hypervisor that you're using. So I'll take you all through the setup like so. So I use VMware Fusion Pro, and I'll just simply create a new image pointed to the security onion ISO that I have already downloaded. These settings right here, a lot of people get confused by them, but essentially what these do is just set up the minimum requirements for this operating system. So you could essentially pick whatever you want and then go make the changes on the back end. If you use VirtualBox a lot, you'll notice that this setting for picking an operating system essentially just gives you the profile image for that virtual machine. So I'm just scrolling through. I'm going to customize the settings. I'm going to give it a name. I'll just straight call this onion for now because I've already called it security onion. And then these extra settings will come up. Some things that you can do to optimize your virtual machines to make them run a little bit faster is if you don't need any of these settings, then take them out, right? Like we're not going to use a camera. Oh, don't mind that mess, right? We're not going to use a printer. And then also there's an option sometimes to save your virtual image file as one file and not separate files. You want to do that. So in the processing in memory, I normally give it 8192, 2 processing cores. I will add a device, give it another network adapter. For the hard disk, bump this up to 40 and apply that. And other than that, what I normally do is I come in here to my network adapters. You'll have the 3 options for NAT, bridged, and host only. I will bridge both network adapters and then start it up. So mind you, as you're using it, it's essentially Wireshark, but on steroids. You'll have to be an administrator because at some point, after you configure your network interface, you're going to get a pop-up that says, hey, A virtual machine is attempting to monitor your network. Do you want to allow that? And you simply just say yes, because you're an admin on your network, and then that will put this VM into monitor mode. We got another question. Is it possible to install Security Onion in the cloud? You know what? So I'm going to be honest. I have not gotten that to work. You go through the instructions on the GitHub page. The image is a little bit different. There are some sample pcap files that comes with this ISO that doesn't come with the straight install from the repositories. So it's a little bit different. But we were successful using the Vagrant option. So if you are familiar with using Vagrant, I have been successful with that. We have some instances on DigitalOcean. I always try to get that going. Provided that we have time, I can show you what that DigitalOcean environment looks like. And I believe the minimum requirement to run Security Onion on a DigitalOcean droplet is about 20 bucks a month. So I feel like that is a small price to pay to get yourself some hands-on skills. All right, the resolution is always a little bit jacked up for me. So before I do anything, just so I don't have any issues, I'll go into applications and make a change to the resolution. And while we're doing that, I want to make sure that we're staying on track with the Word document as well. Normally for my resolution, I have a pretty decent second monitor here. So I'll scroll all the way down and maybe do a 1280 by 960, 4.3, apply that, and then run through the install. So to get this going, you're gonna have to do a couple of things. You will need to run the install twice. The first install is to set up your network interfaces, and the second install would be to install the programs. We'll get there, but it'll ask if you want to be in evaluation mode or production mode. Just pick evaluation mode, and it will run through its normal set of default installations. When you get to here, do not download the updates or install the software just yet. Wait until after you install everything, because as I mentioned, here in the document, to run the latest updates, you'll do a sudo sup, which essentially just stands for Security Onion Update. Essentially, everything is just a push through install. I haven't seen it return any errors really, or anything that was either overly complicated or anything that I had to change. The question, there was a question about Security Onion setting off flags for providers, usage flags. It literally doesn't do anything but sit there and monitors. So whatever you it's not really using bandwidth, if you know what I mean, but it is collecting that pcap. I'll give it a name. I'll just call it Onion. So my name, I'll just say success. That's actually a play on words for anyone that knows anything about the company. Took a lot of time to think of that name, Cover 6 Solutions. It is a military tribute, basically meaning that I got your back, I got your 6, I have the solutions to cover your 6. I am an IPv6 enthusiast as well. So as soon as people start paying more attention to IPv6, hopefully it will mean something again. Speaking of IPv6, I am giving a enumeration and attacking with IPv6 presentation for a conference called Hack the Harbor by Point 3. My name, I'll just say my name is Onion. Normally I like to just say student 1 and password 1, capital P, and hit continue. So that's going to install, and I'll get to the questions while that's installing. How does Security Onion compare to Kali Linux? It is 2 totally different operating systems. Kali Linux is essentially, a Linux-based operating system or Debian-based operating system with hundreds of different tools on there, from vulnerability assessments to pen testing to, hacking Wi-Fi. It's hundreds of tools on there, and Security Onion is more of a network intrusion detection system that does some really great previews of charts and provides you the ability to do searches. So think of, when you think of Security Onion, think of Wireshark on steroids with an intrusion detection system and the ability to quickly search through all of that Wireshark traffic. So, just capturing 5 minutes of Wireshark on your home, it's going to be huge files, but Security Onion allows you to do that really easily. I have not tried to run it on a Raspberry Pi, but it is possible. How does it compare with QRadar? This is just me making it funny because sometimes, don't mind me, I'm silly sometimes, but sometimes, people will ask a question because I'm going to repeat the question just to get their product a plug. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening right now, but those are the things that I think about. I personally have not used QRadar, so I can't, I don't want to speak on it. But if anyone has, and they want to let us know, how does IBM QRadar compare, let me know. I imagine that there's a price behind QRadar, so we could probably start there. And Security Onion is free. You'll see that the tools are going to come in, how do I say it? The premise of the tools are essentially the same. It's just the way that it provides you the information that you may be looking for is what helps you evaluate the tool, right? So some of them will come with multiple functions, the ability to search, the ability to do charts. If I'm an analyst that's using a tool, I want to be able to sit at my desk and be able to do everything that I need to do without leaving, right? So if you were to walk through that cycle of technologies, right, in its rawest form, your tools are going to do something similar to network monitoring, right? Or protocol analysis. And that's going to be with either a Wireshark or some type of NetFlow tool. You'll want some type of intrusion detection mechanism in your tool to try to identify threats. And this tool can be network based, right? Where it just watches what's going on the network and it's alerting based on the traffic and based on the signatures that you created. Or it could be something that's a host based intrusion detection system, which may require you to install some type of agent or some type of program on your machine. And what happens is the agent, depending on what you're using, will allow you to either log into a server. The agent will report for every instance when you install the agent, it will report so you can see what's going on the host. Oftentimes, the agent will let you control the host. So if you need to make changes to a firewall, you need to update software, you need to install anything, you can. And some tools are even more robust than that. And they will even do like forensics functions on a host. Is Security Onion all passive? Yes. Unless anything changed, it does not have any type of prevention mechanisms. A question about what ports should we allow? I allow, so once you'll see it's taking its time right now, but you will want to allow port 22 so you can SSH into this machine to make changes or to import pcaps, which we're going to talk about soon, and to allow 443, which essentially will let you access the machine over the web. Another question, do I select my wireless and network in my network selection and in my VM network settings? All right, so this goes back, and I'm restarting right now. So this goes back to whatever your network environment is. Probably the best thing to do is just to go and spend the 20, 30 bucks to buy another router. Plug that router into the original router that your ISP gave you, and then let that network be your lab environment. So, I mean, there's a little bit of security through obscurity there, but that's what I do. I use the same network environment every time. So if you've ever been in my classes and logged into my router, then you can log in right now and be on my network if you knew where I live. I would highly advise against it, but you can do it. So I'm going to hit enter. The prompt probably will not show up until you configure the interfaces. So it seems like we have some folks following from home. Yes. Am I sharing my screen so you can see my face, right? I just want to make sure. All right, yeah, you've been able to see me. Cool. Do we have any questions so far? All right, so we're going to keep going. Logging in, student one, password one. There are a couple of sites that I feel that you all should know about while we're going through the second setup. And one is the Security Onion team does a really good job with their read the docs documentation. Everything you need to know is in there. I don't have the ability to chat, so Scott, if you can send me a message in the chat, then I'll be able to respond to everyone else. The second one is on Twitter. Like if you're into Security Onion and what they're doing, definitely you can follow the Security Onion folks online. I believe they are just twitter.com and just straight up Security Onion. Right? They don't follow anyone, that's cool. But their pinned tweet talks about Security Onion 2.0. Give it a shot. Let me know what you can do. So I'm going to go through the setup again. Another reason why I like this tool, and we're going to get into it soon, is you can use it to analyze other network traffic. At some point, if you apply for any type of SOC analyst position, what's going to happen is towards the end, as part of the interview process, they're going to ask you to analyze the pcap file. And I'm going to show you how to import that file into Security Onion, and then you can just have Security Onion break down all of that for you, so you'll be able to do some really good analysis. All right, so the first interface, the management interface, is going to be our, for me, ENS33. It may be different for you. And then I normally do DHCP. And the next thing is to configure your sniffing interfaces. It already knows what your sniffing or your monitoring interfaces will be. So you just hit OK, and then make those changes and reboot. And then we'll do the second part of the setup. Another way to kind of manage your network at home, one of the ways that I do it is I actually go into the settings of the router, figure out what the addressing is that you want to use for your scope of addresses. I can tell you what I use. And if you see my screen right now, because I configured my interfaces, you'll see that I have this pop-up that says the machine wants to monitor. So I'll just say yes to that for now, and then start the second part of my install. Sometimes I forget if I should do the sudo sup now or later, but I'll just run it through again. Password 1. Continue, skip the network innovation configuration because we already did that. We're gonna choose evaluation mode, click through. This is the monitoring interface. It's gonna ask you to create another username. So in this case, I'll just do student 1 again and password 1 as my password. So basically there's the account that lets you manage the operating system, and there's an account that lets you access the tools through the web. So I'll make those changes. That may take a while. So let's get back to how I set my addressing scheme up. So what I do is I'll pick a /24. Normally it's numbers that I like, that I'm quite fond of. So 10.0.6.1 through 255 will be the network range for my environment. And that's by design, because like in your lab environment or your home environment, you want to be able to look at an IP address and immediately know if it's one of your IPs or not. So having a DHCP scope will help with that. Javelle, I do see a question. I'm going to get to it really soon. So what I do is 10.0.6.1 will normally be the router. So .2 through 99 are my, I guess you can call it my admin management home environment. And what I do is I statically assign IP addresses. So when I come home, my phone, my laptop, my iPad, everything is going to get the same IP address every single time. And I statically assign everything in my home that way. Then I'll create, I guess, a guest portion of the network where I'll have the point to where I want the DHCP leases to start. And if anything I say, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, just let me know and I'll explain it. So I want my DHCP leases to start at 101, and that's going to go from 101 through 199. And that's also by design, because the very first machine is going to get 101, then 102, 103. So if I have any guests, I'll know it immediately because it's a 100 and something. If I'm home alone, I should never see a 100 anything because I don't have any guests. And because it increments in 1, if you go through Wireshark and see an IP address 10.0.6.112, you know that there's 12 hosts on your network. And then also what I do is for my lab machines, my lab range is 10.0.6, 200 to 254. And then what I'll do is inside of my router, I will statically, well, not statically, I will create IP addresses based on my own custom MAC address scheme. So all of my virtual machines, I go and change the MAC address on them all, right? And normally my security onion machine will have the last two MAC address, last two IP addresses, 254 and 253. So my MAC address scheme are just numbers that mean something to me. 06, right? Yeah, it's 48-bit MAC address 06905651, and then the last 4 digits would be a 6, and then the last 3 digits is equal to whatever I want the IP address to be. And I go take the time and set all of that up in my router. So in this instance, the only thing I would have to do is turn this machine off and apply the MAC address 069056516253 to one interface 069056516254 to the other interface, and I already know what IP address it's going to get. It just saves you a lot of trouble over time. So it could be something that you want to just do one day if you're just sitting there, watching the game or whatever you do to pass time. All right, we're not in the troubleshooting portions yet, so let's go to the terminal again. and open up a couple things on the firewall. Right, so first thing we want to do is see what our IP address is for ENS 33, and I got 10.0.0.71. So that means if I was to, don't want you to see that just yet. So I'm going to open up a browser on Safari. It's in a second window, so but basically you can put this IP address in the browser now. It's not going to work, so let's do a sudo ufw allow 443 password 1, and then if you want, you can do a sudo ufw allow 22. Right, so now we can SSH into this machine and we can access it from the website. All right, so it should look. Oh, dang it. I literally ended up showing you what I didn't even want to show you. And that's just how it works sometimes. Show details. There is a self-signed certificate here. You can go like and update that certificate or get a different certificate if you want, in case you want to host it online. Because in Security Onion, in DigitalOcean, you can create your own domains, and maybe you want to have a onion dot, you want a subdomain for onion dot whatever. All right, so the way that it looks right now is once you get to the home page, you'll notice that you have access to some tools, one being CyberChef, which is amazing. If you've done any type of capture the flag events, you may have used CyberChef. It helps with a lot of your encryption, decoding, and things of that nature. That is a hint for anyone that's doing the Diana Initiative Capture the Flag event. Plug this weekend. Please go sign up. I'm part of the CTF team. We put in a lot of work putting that all together for everyone. All right, and so the two primary tools that we're going to focus on is Kibana and Squirt. Squirt is your network intrusion detection system. Kibana is your, I guess, the Wireshark on steroids portion. So I'm going to log in, student 1, password 1, and we should have a connection. We should start seeing some results. And basically what we're going to see is whatever's happening currently on this local segment. When you first get it started, it may take some time to start capturing events. That's okay, like just let it run. Eventually it will kick in. If it doesn't, there are some things that you can do to troubleshoot. And one is to restart Kibana with sudo so Kibana restart, or you can restart all of the services. Anything that you want to do, you can do from the command line with the help of these commands, along with the read the docs documentation. Let me show you some more cool things about Security Onion and why it is one of my favorites. And with that, what I'll do is I'll just put the focus just on the Security Onion machine, and then I'll talk about why I'm doing that. All right. So built into Security Onion inside the CD opt samples directory, you'll see that there's a list of pcap files that are already there. Additionally, one of my favorites is inside of this NTA directory. So if you go to this NTA directory, which is malware traffic analysis, built by Brad Duncan. If you don't know Brad Duncan, and I'll be sure to go to his Twitter profile, at malware_traffic. They put out great material almost every single day on their website and on their Twitter feed. So we're going to go into malware traffic analysis, do an ls-l. Let me try to expand this. I think my resolution may have gotten jacked up again, so I'm just going to go change that really quick in my settings because I want you to see it. And basically, what is already provided to you is some pcap files from some of the latest and greatest, or back in the day, pcap from really well-known malware attacks. One of the biggest to date is probably TrickBot. So I like going to the TrickBot because it's kind of like a three-part malware attack with emotet and whatnot, and it's a really great way for you to understand like what it does and how it works. Before we get to it, I want to answer a couple of more questions. Do we want to install it on dedicated hardware? If you do have a dedicated server that you can use just for Security Onion, and maybe you have a switch that, I don't know, maybe you have a spam port, then, you can do that. Yeah, so you can have Security Onion be in server and client mode. Like I said, O'Shea Bowens talked about that on our website, and basically I think it's called Trust Open Source Security Onion for your organization. Another question: have I tested against Tenable? I'm not sure what you mean by Tenable. Like, did I use Nessus or did I use one of Tenable's other tools? If it's the latter, then no, I haven't used any other Tenable tool except the pro version of the Nessus. If I run Nessus right now, all of that is going to show in this instance of Security Onion. All right, have another question. As someone who wants to learn Security Onion, what are some good things I can do to begin by using this? Well, you're here. I'm about to show you right now. Right, so in here, there's pcap files that already exist. And what you can do is you have two options. You can import these pcap files, or you can replay these pcap files. TCP replay is already built in to Security Onion. And there's a difference. If you replay them, the timestamps for the traffic will have the time that you replayed them. If you import them, then they will have the original timestamps. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I am going to run a sudo, so import dash pcap, and I am going to replay this TrickBot pcap, so you can see what that looks like. You get a little pop-up saying what the requirements are and some things that are going to happen, and then it will happen. And essentially what it does is, because it's replaying these pcap files, it's gonna simulate the attack. Well, you'll get the net flow data of an attack. So once you have the net flow data, now you can transition into doing some research on the IP address, right? So you can transition into the incident handling and incident response. So by replaying this TrickBot set pcap, that is essentially me saying, hey, I am a company owner. I believe we just been hit by TrickBot. So now you, as the analyst, will need to kick in, right? And start evaluating and start doing some incident handling and responding and, I guess, threat hunting to identify when and where all of this happened. When we replay this, there's going to be some things that kind of give it away. But if we were to approach it from an incident handling and response standpoint, and the only thing that you know is that you've been hit with a possible TrickBot infection, what would you do? That's a good one. You don't see Stuxnet. What would you do? Let's just say you don't know anything. What would you do? Right? You would treat it just like you would treat it anything else. You would go to Google University, YouTube University, Twitter University, LinkedIn University, and figure out what TrickBot is, how it works. Maybe you'll see some charts and some graphs and what have you. And then you will look for what's called IOCs, or indicators of compromise. And by indicators of compromise, I mean there will be some IP addresses that are primarily associated with TrickBot malware. You'll see that list of IP addresses, and you'll use your tools to see if any of those IP addresses appear on your network. Have any of your machines communicated with any of those IPs? If they have, then you may want to transition to see if your intrusion detection system alerted on any of that activity. And if it has, then you will do a deep dive into the alert and figure out why it alerted, if it's still happening, and then you will want to find a way to provide some additional value to either your environment or your customer or whoever you're doing network monitoring for. I can assure you that if you tell someone that you analyze malware traffic on the side for fun, chances are you're going to get that job, right? Especially if you can walk through this, explain it, and just perform this on a regular basis. And then I'll show you some other things that Brad puts together on his website that can take your malware traffic analysis SOC analyst game to another level. All right, so right here it's saying that the import is complete and that we can go to this URL on our device to see the traffic, or we can set our time frame to December 7th, 2018. So what does that mean? That means that if we go back to our handy dandy website, and we do, oh man, again, I am messing up, 0.0.71, right? If the IDS tool square, and I may need to do a, let's do this sudo, so hold on, restart. If that still doesn't work, I may need to reallocate. I think I may have missed a step. Let's do a sudo and hit enter. And then while it's updating, I will try to address more questions. All right. You want to know more about Suricata and Logstash? All right. Let's see. Did I put Logstash, a definition of Logstash in here? Yes. So, so the Suricata is essentially the backend intrusion detection engine, I guess, that runs on the back end. And the Logstash is used to help you parse and format your log files. Question: what is a good way to represent security onion on your resume or cover letter? I would just say you have just to put the fact that you have experience analyzing pcap files, analyzing well-known malware traffic, using an intrusion detection system, parentheses, security onion. You still may need to demonstrate that. All right, let's go in the document. Back to the document. If you just want to do some protocol analysis in its rawest form, I left you all some sample Wireshark capture filters and display filters. And the reason why I did that is because you may want to, and this is another plug for a presentation that I've given for SANS, for one of the SANS webcasts, and that's going to be becoming the adversary. So basically, one of the reasons why I put this in here is because if you have a lab environment, I'm sure at some point you're going to have an attack platform, be it Kali Linux, Parrot OS, or even a custom created Linux type operating system. Also in your lab, you'll most likely have some target machines. So the reason why I'm showing you the Wireshark capture filters is so you can use Wireshark to literally capture the attacks that you're performing on yourself. So I got this, I started doing this 20 years ago. Oh, almost 20 years ago. Has it been 20 years ago? Yeah, almost 20 years ago when I was attached to the Northeast IOC, my very first reserve unit. They didn't issue me a weapon. They issued me a laptop, taught me about VirtualBox, and essentially said, and gave me some paperwork and said, go practice watching yourself hack yourself. And once you can get used to doing all that, and it's not a problem for you to start up Wireshark, create a capture filter for something specific that you're looking for. It's just going to take your game to a higher level. And it's going to help you analyze these pcap files. Another reason why I'm saying this, and I should have been showing my whole screen, I'm sorry. So another reason why I'm saying this, and it's going to take us to Brad's website, but on Brad's malware traffic analysis website, there is an obscene amount of learning tools that are here for free, mind you, that are very, very valuable for your protocol analysis skill set. So Brad has some tutorials here for how to use Wireshark and how to customize Wireshark, along with some sample exercises. And literally what you can do is download one of these exercises. I have already done it. So you download it, open it up in Wireshark, which oh no, not supposed to, yeah. Open it up in Wireshark and then try to answer these questions. And you can do this over and over and over again because he constantly puts out new challenges. And sometimes they're for specific types of malware. So for those that were, or whoever mentioned Stuxnet, I'm actually going to see, no, it's not here. But that is an option. Also, Wireshark has some sample pcap files on their website as well. All right, for anyone that's in the beginning of their career, I'm telling you, you will want to gain some hands-on experience. You literally have nothing to lose. Even if it's just for an hour a day, let Wireshark run. You won't even need an hour. 10 minutes. Let it run. Let it capture some traffic, and then use Wireshark to go and analyze that traffic. It looks like my update has started over. I have made the proper sacrifices. So this is that error that we get sometimes. So I'm going to log in. Oh no, it's still updating. Questions. Is there a way to check your answers on the website? Yes. So definitely use it. Try to use it to check the answers and to not get the PDF to look at the file. So in each section, there's a portion for the pcap, and then there's a PDF file that has the answers on it. They're in a zip file. The password to the zip file is infected. Using the password infected is pretty much an industry standard when you're passing pcaps back and forth to people, because the pcap files is network traffic, so it is considered proprietary information. So you want to ensure that that's protected. So the password infected is used quite often. What are some good certs to obtain for someone beginning in their career in cyber? Whew. I get that question a lot. if you know how to turn a computer on and you know what a hard drive is, a motherboard, BIOS, Cat5, Cat6 cable, you understand the networking portion, then you could skip the A+ exam. So normally I would say A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, right? That will give you a great foundation, especially since you want to get into cyber security. And then at that point, what will happen is hopefully you would have done some things that will help you identify what you like doing the most. Because I feel like you have to enjoy it, because your passion for that is going to shine through when you enjoy it. So when you talk to people, they'll be able to recognize that passion. So you'll either go offense or defense, hardware or software, managerial or not, technical or hands-on or not, right? Those will be some of the paths. And it's not just security and hacking, right? So that you can just focus on writing code or building websites. Like you can literally just focus on attacking websites and being really good in the bug bounty programs. There's so much free information out there. It's ridiculous. Whatever you're looking for, Twitter can most likely answer that for you with a hashtag. Or if you just go on Twitter and say, hey, my name is so and so, I'm new to the industry, I am looking to do this, I can assure you, if I saw it, I'm going to retweet it. I've seen it happen. You know, an individual have 200-300 likes in retweets in a few hours, so that's maximum. That's maximum coverage. Yeah. I mean, what are the major platforms? Udemy, Cybrary, the Cyber Mentor, Professor Messer, Daniel, DFR Diva, DFR Diva. Yep, I'm a big fan of hers, as she may know already. I've not met her, but I'm quite fond of folks that are willing to give back to the community. All right, so time to reboot, and this is the moment of truth for us to get some network traffic. If not, at a minimum, I won't monitor the network, but the TrickBot files should still be there. So at a minimum, we should be able to see that. And if not, I do have my own machine that we can use to see that traffic. So I've made a mistake once by not ensuring that I had 3 and 4 different VMs ready to go. So if you went to B-Sides Nova last year, I actually gave this presentation at B-Sides Nova and ran into a few networking issues, so I couldn't get to my instance in the cloud. My instance on my laptop was giving me issues, and I figured I would have at least had those 2 backups. But you know, I pushed through that. You know, Pluralsight, yes. Ethical hacker training. Anyone looking to go into the offensive side, I'm telling you, being better on the offensive side makes you a better defender. Yeah, I'll just say that. I have been in the OSCP labs for years, so I kind of fly through the network defense portion. All right, if you didn't get the prompt, no. Perv, I hope I said your name right. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's go to student 1, password 1. Did anyone do any research on TrickBot or has any IP addresses or indicators of compromise from TrickBot? Okay. How can this tool be used as a side gig or business? Okay. As with any business, you'll need to show that you have the acumen, that you have the trust of other people before, people start to give you money. But once you start to build relationships, once you start to show that you do have that technical expertise, and maybe you are doing this, at a presentation or something, the business will come to you. In business, you want to solve a problem, and you really don't want to make it too expensive, but you still want to show that you can provide quality work. And sometimes, that can be misconstrued. For instance, I think our workshops aren't that expensive, and it's because I'm literally trying to give the class away, but it doesn't mean that our work isn't top notch or the class isn't top notch. I probably wouldn't have said that 2 years ago because I wouldn't have been confident enough to say that, but shoot, I didn't mean to curse. I'm sorry, put a lot of work into it. All right, I want to make sure I'm getting all of the questions. All right, so someone sent me a link, a URL, a string. I don't want to click on that right now, but thanks. I can show you where we can go on the web. US CERT alerts, ISSA, if they put out anything, you should be paying attention to it. TrickBot, and we can just see what's there. TrickBot, Emotet, Ryuk, go to the earliest one. Here is their alert from, 2018. If you're not into that SOC analyst field or putting reports out just yet, you'll notice that each organization will have a naming scheme for their reports. It's essentially the year and the number of the report that was put out that year. And if there is an A, there's typically a B out or a revised one. So the way that I like to look at the reports and analyze the reports, I analyze the reports the same way that I study, right? In as less words as possible, right? So when you write something, you just want to get to the point really quick. On this day, this attacker using this IP address and this port started attacking this IP address on this port and service at this time. This is the result. Boom. That's it. Now I know what happened. And then later on in the report, you can be as descriptive as you want with your charts and everything. And then at some part of the report, there'll be a tear line, and in that tear line, there'll be a list of indicators. I'm going to try to find an example here. There'll be a list of indicators, so you don't have to go and search for all of your indicators of compromise. They're already there in the report for you. And then after that, there'll be another section that will have the different types of signatures that you can employ to detect this traffic. So they'll say, hey, if you want to detect this traffic in the future, here's the smart signature that will help you do that. By the way, if you do see that, let us know, because you know, as a defender, if I'm helping individuals defend their network, I think it would be like a good, I guess you can call it a kudo, right? I just want to know that I am being of service, or I'm adding value to the community. So if you let me know that my signature helped you in some way or some form, then I am going to be happy. Let's see where we are. All right. We are almost there. All right. I am not going to fuss with this VM right now, so I'm just going to shut it down, right? Because I don't have the time for that. And then I will open up my own VM where I know it works. I'm going to assume that it could be due to the fact that I am streaming right now. So there's like, you know, there could be memory issues, could be hard drive issues, could be a number of things as to why I'm not getting any traffic there. For if there's any security onion folks listening right now, thank you for all you do. We are almost done. I just want to show you a couple things in Kibana and a couple things in Squirt, and then we'll be done. I'll just say yes for now. I mean, I know it has some populated traffic because I put it in there. Another thing, while we're here, before I forget, shout out to ISSA for being our sponsors and showing. ISSA also sponsors our meetup group. We've had a really great partnership over the past few years, so I want to thank Scott, Teresa, all the folks at the National Capital Chapter for all of your support over the years. You know, when Cover 6 and the DC Cyber Warriors were pretty much having our meetups in a basement, you all were there, so thank you. Another thing, before I forget, as a way to show our gratitude, I want to offer everyone, I don't know if I can chat, oh, Scott, you can put it in there. I want to offer everyone a discount code to any of the Cover 6 workshops. So if you go to cover6solutions.com, on our homepage, you should see 3 options for upcoming training. And with the discount code ISSA, that will give you 20% off we have an upcoming SOC analyst prep, contested prep, and a week-long summer cyber camp. All right, that is back up. I will need to figure out what the new IP address is. Uh, 69. So I'll go to HTTPS. And that's 0.0.69. All right, so everyone should see this. Once you get it up and running, you can log into Kibana. And it will show your traffic. This will be, like I said, it will be like your introduction to using a SIM tool, right? So, you know, like it's a prelude to using something like Splunk. And what it does is you can see that you can break all of your network traffic down. So what we're seeing right now, this number of logs, the only thing that we're seeing is the pcap, the TrickBot pcap that I replayed, right? So it's not monitoring my network right now. But if it was, then you can use these options to view that traffic. And you'll see on the left that it has a breakdown by the number of connections and the number, and it sorts it all by service. So if you want to see all of the machines that use remote desktop on your network, you can just click this RDP and it will break it down for you. So if I do something like click on connections, it will show me all of the connection activity for the TrickBot malware. So all of the, oh, this looks like from earlier, right? So it will show the IP addresses and such that were used on your network. If you want to drill down even more to see what this host was doing, you can, right? And it's normally faster, but oh, thank you, Iris. About to shed a tear. I'm not gonna get emotional. But yeah, so this, it will break it down that way. So like I said, the Kibana is essentially your Wireshark on steroids. And by the threat hunting, like I said, yeah, so I think ISSA 20 or just straight ISSA for the discount code. You can also search by when you saw the activity. So you want to search the last 24 hours, you want to search the last 5 years, year to date, for however long you want, you can. Typically, you will want to know if this traffic was ever seen on your network at all. You can add a filter here. So you can do something like show me everything where the source underscore IP is, or if you have a group of IPs, say for your TrickBot, I think it has well over, I think in the report, I think in the traffic here, there's like 9 IPs. So you can say, show me everything where the source is this IP address or is one of these values. And then you can give it a label and call it TrickBot and then save it. So if you ever wanted to see if you had TrickBot activity before, you have a filter, a TrickBot filter for that. So now that you have that, now you can go and create labels for other types of traffic. And now you can be able to quickly sift through your different filters to see if you're detecting any of that traffic. All right, let's go back and look at, it's right there already, Squirt, which is your intrusion detection system. And I hope that it does not conk out on me. PS 0.69. Come on, Squirt. I might have to give it some more memory. Dang it. Let me think. All right. Maybe I can save it for a later discussion. But essentially, and I'm trying to think if I have an instance somewhere else. essentially what Squirt is your intrusion detection system. It will list all of the alerts that were triggered. And you know what? I don't want to go out without a fight. So just really quick, I am going to try one thing. See what happens. I am going to go to my settings, and I'm going to let's do 102.40. Yeah. I don't know if the cores will matter, but I'll just bump it up and then restart it. And I won't do the monitoring this time. Yeah, keep feeding the hamster. Yeah, I'm telling you, just like everything, when I'm here alone, I have zero issues. So I'm getting this thing. I'm gonna hit cancel on this because I don't want to do any network monitoring. I'll hit OK. I really just want to see the results. Another thing that I want to do, and I'm not going to get emotional. No. So another thing that I want to do is, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I mentioned starting a new trend in tech, and the trend is to use your platform to kind of promote someone else that you feel is doing a great job in the industry. And there was mention of EFR Diva, and she was the one that I had mentioned at my last presentation last week. So this week, I do have someone in mind. This individual really reminds me of myself in his passion, his willingness to be vulnerable, his willingness to show the world or let the world know that he may have failed at something, but he still doesn't let it get to him. It still keeps coming back. That individual is Davin Jackson, DJax. If you are unaware of who Davin is, look him up, find him. Dude's gonna be a star, right? So that is that. So go and find DJax. Don't tell him I did this, because that's the point, right? The point is to have someone else get a little bit more exposure, and they don't know why. It'll just happen. Looks like I might have to go straight to the source here. So I'm gonna double click on Squirt and try to run Squirt straight from the VM. So in the VM, and I'm gonna adjust my resolution soon. I just wanna make sure it works. You do have the option to run it straight from the VM, and that looks a lot better. All right. Woo! Can't see. That's why you gotta keep pushing. Gotta keep pushing. Not gonna let no VM get to me. All right, so let me just adjust the settings real quick. We'll see what these IDS alerts look like, and we may be able to call it a night. Kept feeding the hamster. Oh, the individual for the exposure is Davin Jackson, DJax_alpha. Go find them. Trust me. I think he's doing a SANS. I think his next event is a SANS webcast on OWASP top 10, I think. OWASP top 10. Apply that. All right. Keep these changes. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to focus my screen on just my VM. That should have worked. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the alerts from the time that we kicked off the TrickBot activity. So if you remember, the activity occurred, does anyone remember the date? December 7th, 2018. So that means in our tool, we need to change our interval and we need to go back to 2018, find December 7th, and then we can now analyze all of the alerts that happened that day. And because we know this was only TrickBot activity, right? Now you can see a couple things. You can start with the first alert to see what started it, what kicked it off, and then you can go and literally walk through the entire process just by looking at these alerts. So let's look at it, right? We'll just do one and then we'll call it a night. It'll have an alert ID and then this queue number. This queue number is essentially the number of times it happened. This is the snort alert that was used to detect it. We will get into snort at some point. Oh, that's not the number of times. No, it is. But in here, what you can do is, if you click on this, where is it? I am trying to find it. Doesn't want to open for me. But normally you have to just click on it. Oh, here it is. What am I doing? So click on it again, and then you'll see the number of entries, 13, along with the event IDs. And then if you wanted to drill into it even more on the back end, just like most tools, it will have the associated pcap capture. So now you can go and analyze the pcap specific to this event, right? So I'll open that pcap in Wireshark, and now you can analyze just that. And really quick, if you have no idea what this means or where to start, don't let this get to you. I'll give you a 1 minute quick tutorial. Just go to statistics, conversations, and the conversations will pretty much tell you everything you need to know. Where is it? We want IPv4 right here. So this is your, let me try my best to fix this or change the resolution, but it will show you all of the IPv4 traffic. There is no IPv6 traffic, so you know it's this host communicating with this host. 172 was most likely the internal, and that's the quick and dirty how I normally break it down. So you can see who was talking to who, how many packets, how many bytes. And then the next thing is the TCP column. If you look at port B, that will tell you the type of traffic. So this is web traffic to from this internal IP to this IP address. Now we need to figure out if 69.28.199.10 is malicious. Where have we seen it before? What domains did it use back in the day? Blah, 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 blah. Cool. So we just went a quick hour, 20 minutes. Feels like only 15 minutes. To me, I can go, I can flow. But yeah, I want to, not seeing any more questions. I want to thank you all for coming out. I am Tyrone Wilson, founder and president of Cover 6 Solutions. Check us out, cover6solutions.com, or me on Twitter. I am at Ty Wilson 21 on Twitter. I am always happy to connect with anyone. My DMs are always open. If you need anything, let me know. I can try to make that happen for you. The company is Cover 6 Solutions. Look us up. We have the #1 SOC analyst video on YouTube. We should be at about 36,000 views. So yeah, cool. All right, so thank you ISSA for having me. Thank you all for attending. I will turn it back over to Scott.
On behalf of the National Capital Chapter, Tyrone, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for being a sponsor. This was excellent. Awesome questions from the audience. Really appreciate it. Tyrone, you know, if I was in person, I'd give you a big handshake. Pre-COVID. So how about a virtual bump? Thank you again. Again, thank you for the 20% discount also for your training classes. We put that in the chat, so hopefully everybody saw it on your screen. So the only thing I can say is please come back 1 month from today, the 3rd Tuesday of September, for our next presentation. Again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Out here.
All right, have a good night, everyone.